the Danish palace has released new photos of Crown Prince Christian completing national service amid rising geopolitical tensions in the region. What's the latest on the prince's military training, and how are Queen Mary and King Frederik dealing with their son's absence?
Right. Well, this has been one of the big stories in Denmark this year. Of course, they have, tensions with Donald Trump over Greenland. There's also tensions with Russia on the other side. So, there is a lot of emphasis at the moment on national security in Denmark. And part of that comes down to national service. They have had male national service for decades, and they're actually introducing it for women as well. Only a few countries do that at the moment, Israel being one of them. So it's a very big topic. And of course, Christian is currently in that time of his life. He is completing national service. He has been living for several months at a very remote military base, undergoing intense sort of military training. And then the palace this week has released some new photos of...
Good day, and welcome back to Danish News Daily, where royal decisions land softly in press releases but hit loudly in living rooms across Denmark. Today's story is not about romance or travel. It is about power, identity, and a single decision that shook the monarchy to its core. Before we step into this royal earthquake, subscribe to Danish News Daily and click the notifications bell so you stay ahead of every palace shift, protocol change, and eyebrow-raising announcement. Now, let us rewind to the moment everything changed. Queen Margrethe, Denmark's longest-reigning monarch, made a bold move that stunned the nation. She announced that Prince Joachim's children would no longer hold royal titles. Overnight, princes and princesses became counts and countesses. On paper, it sounded administrative. In reality, it felt deeply personal. Here is where the shock really set in. Titles in Denmark are not just fancy labels. They represent heritage, expectation, and belonging. Stripping them away was seen by many as a symbolic severing of status, even if intentions were framed as modern and practical. Transition with me here, because the reasoning matters. The palace explained this was about slimming down the monarchy, preparing younger generations for normal working lives, and avoiding the burden of royal expectation. Sensible logic, neat language, forward-thinking vision. But emotion does not always follow logic, especially in families. Prince Joachim did something rare in royal culture. He spoke openly. He expressed hurt. He questioned the timing. And suddenly, the carefully polished image of royal unity cracked in full public view. Danes were not used to seeing royal disagreement play out so honestly. Now, let us talk timing, because timing is everything. This decision arrived as the monarchy was already evolving, with discussions about relevance, cost, and public accountability growing louder. For some, Queen Margrethe looked decisive and modern. For others, she looked distant and uncompromising. Here comes the part that turned debate into division. Princess Marie revealed the emotional impact on the children. The idea that they felt excluded struck a nerve with the public. This was no longer an abstract reform. It became a story about childhood identity, family bonds, and public consequence. Shift your focus for a moment to public reaction. Denmark, usually calm and consensus-driven, suddenly split into camps. Supporters applauded the Queen's realism. Critics questioned the lack of empathy. Social media became a battleground of tradition versus reform, emotion versus institution. Now fast forward to today. Queen Margrethe has since stepped aside, passing the crown to King Frederik. But this decision remains part of her legacy. It is discussed in documentaries, interviews, and late-night debates. It did not fade. It settled. Here is where things get even more interesting. King Frederik now reigns in the shadow of that choice. While he did not make the decision, he inherits its consequences. Every attempt to present unity is measured against that unresolved tension. Family dinners may be private, but symbolism is always public. Let us talk modern monarchy for a second. Across Europe, royal families are trimming, restructuring, and redefining themselves. Titles are becoming less automatic and more conditional. Denmark is not alone, but it may have been the boldest. And yet, boldness comes at a cost. Removing titles can simplify institutions, but it can also complicate relationships. In this case, it reshaped Prince Joachim's path, influenced his decision to live abroad, and altered how the public perceives royal hierarchy. Now here is the suspenseful question. Was this move visionary, or was it emotionally misjudged? History often rewards reformers, but only when compassion walks alongside change. Without that balance, even well-intentioned decisions leave scars. The irony is striking. A decision meant to free children from royal pressure instead placed them at the center of a global conversation. Their names became headlines. Their lives became examples. The very spotlight the palace claimed to reduce grew brighter. As Denmark looks forward under a new king, this moment stands as a turning point. It showed that monarchy is not immune to family conflict, nor is it above emotional consequence. It reminded the public that behind ceremonial smiles are real people navigating inherited roles. So what remains? A monarchy leaner on paper, but heavier with lessons. Titles can be removed with signatures, but trust takes longer to rebuild. Whether this decision strengthens Denmark's royal future or lingers as a cautionary tale will be judged not by headlines, but by how unity is restored moving forward. Thank you for watching Danish News Daily.